The Master's Mysteries, Tales of Magical Mastery, Episode 87. Come on, don't be afraid. Let's continue talking about Xiaodi's background. It turns out that the woman who was collecting herbs was quite remarkable. As soon as she spoke, that fierce tiger became gentler than a kitten, obediently standing by Xiaodi's side. Don't cry. Please stop crying, all right. But at that time, Xiaodi was only 5 years old and was truly scared. She kept crying, which worried the woman. Perhaps she didn't have much experience with children, so her way of comforting was quite unique. Haha, it's so much fun. I don't know what she did, but that big tiger suddenly became a great steed beneath Xiaodi, carrying her and running away. Believe it or not, it actually made Xiaodi laugh. After learning about Xiaodi's background, she helped her bury her parents and then took Xiaodi deep into the Changbai Mountains. Little girl, shall I take you up the mountain, all right? They ran for who knows how long and arrived at the foot of a high peak. Xiaodi was young, and since both her parents had passed away, she had no place to go except to follow the woman who had saved her. Seeing that Xiaodi agreed, the fierce tiger carried her on its back and leaped to the mountaintop. Here, we will sever our worldly ties down below. Upon reaching the summit, although Xiaodi was still young, she could tell that this place was not simple. It was a courtyard larger than the county government she had lived in, and it exuded an air of divinity. Are you willing? Are you willing to live here? Then come inside with me. At this point, with no one else to turn to and a deep curiosity about this place, Xiaodi happily decided to stay. I miss my parents, but during the day, everything was fine. At night, Xiaodi began to miss her parents. Good child, from now on, I will be your mother. Thanks to the woman who had been by Xiaodi's side, her genuine love and care gradually dispelled much of Xiaodi's sadness. Mom, the terrified Xiaodi was slowly warmed by this affectionate woman, soothing her young heart. Go to sleep obediently. Don't be afraid. Mom is here. In the woman's loving smile, she drifted into a deep sleep. From that day on, Xiaodi became the disciple of this woman and practiced martial arts diligently every day in this mysterious large courtyard. Time flew by, and the years passed swiftly. At first, Xiaodi found life in the mountains to be dull, but she gradually got used to it, and time seemed to pass quickly. In the blink of an eye, over a decade had passed, and Xiaodi had grown into a graceful 17-year-old young lady. Under her master's careful guidance, her martial arts skills had become the best among the younger generation on the mountain. One day, just like any other day, Xiaodi practiced her whip techniques, and her master, as usual, watched from the sidelines. Tomorrow, they will choose the saintess. You must keep a calm mindset. Today, the master informed Xiaodi about the selection of the saintess. Master, I don't want to compete with my fellow sisters. I also don't want to become the saintess. Xiaodi was never combative and had no desire to compete with her fellow sisters. She had remained silent when her master mentioned it before, but today, at the last moment, she couldn't help but express her thoughts. Silence. Obey everything that your master arranges. Yes. Master, however, since her master was very angry, Xiaodi didn't dare to argue further and reluctantly agreed. In this competition, her extraordinary talent and unwavering dedication to her training over the years, combined with her master's meticulous teaching, set her martial arts skills far above the rest. After several rounds of competition, she defeated all her fellow sisters and became the final candidate for the position of saintess. Master, this child is exceptional, but her background, Master, please think carefully. Xiaodi's fellow sisters all came from prestigious families, unlike her, and this was precisely what her master wanted to change within the sect. Because it involved more complexities, many decisions were becoming increasingly difficult. I announce that Xiaodi is the 116th generation saintess of our sect. Fortunately, the sect's leader was very open-minded and, despite opposition, confirmed Xiaodi's position as the saintess. Although Xiaodi didn't want to be the saintess, she knew that her master had placed all her hopes on her and had no choice but to follow the arrangement. Another year passed, and Xiaodi reached the age of 18. Because of her extraordinary talent, she received special attention from the sect's leader. But just at this moment, a catastrophic event befell the sect. Our dragon shaman has risen, and there's no need for your existence anymore. A man in black, with his own strength, infiltrated the holy immortal sect, intending to wipe out this long-standing sect. Unorthodox cult, how dare you cause trouble? Then don't blame me. They had heard of the so-called dragon shaman in recent years, a cult that disguised itself as shamans. They had thought there would be no conflict, but now the adversary had come knocking on their door. The disciples of the holy immortal sect were determined to protect their sect with their lives. However, they were met with a terrifying sight they couldn't have expected. No one could have imagined that dragons actually existed in this world, and such ferocious ones at that. The sect members were no match at all. Before long, chaos reigned within the sect, with many injured and some even losing their lives. Those were her loved ones, and for the first time, Xiaodi felt hatred for herself, for not being skilled enough to protect them. Whoever recognizes the situation is a wise one. If you are willing to join my dragon immortal sect, I welcome you. In this battle, Xiaodi also suffered severe injuries, watching helplessly as her master, who had raised her, and her elders fell one by one. She struggled to get up, but her body wouldn't move. Her vision darkened, and then she passed out. Xiaodi, please wake up. When she woke up again, the first thing she saw was her master's warm smile. Master, the sect is destroyed, and I can no longer take care of you. Xiaodi quickly got up and looked around, realizing everything. Her master had saved her once again. From now on, you'll have to rely on yourself. Take good care of yourself. Her master led her to a dry well, a forbidden place in their sect, as Xiaodi had been told before. There is a treasure there, made from the scales of an ancient divine dragon. I'm entrusting it to you. You've met Huquilin, and I've also passed her to you. Behind her master, there was a stone door, which seemed to lead to a secret chamber. Her master appeared extremely weak at the moment, but kept admonishing her. A foreboding feeling rose in Xiaodi's heart. Master, I must avenge our sect. No, since her parents' death, this place had been her home, and Xiaodi didn't want to leave her master behind to escape alone. But as soon as she spoke, her master scolded her and told her to go back. Don't seek revenge. Live a good life. Be an ordinary woman. Lead a simple life. Xiaodi understood her master's good intentions. Her master didn't want her to die in vain. Master, I'm sorry. Master was already at death's door, and with her last breath, she brought Xiaodi to this place. Her body went limp, and she passed away. After crying bitterly, Xiaodi buried her master and pushed open the stone door. To her surprise, the stone chamber was not large, and there was only one thing inside. It was a whip. Thinking of all the martial arts her master had taught her over the years, Xiaodi understood everything. Her master had paved the way for her. A whip made from the scales of an ancient divine dragon was undoubtedly a divine artifact. Her master hoped that she could stay safe and have the ability to protect herself. Her master truly loved her. Wiping away her tears once more, Xiaodi took the divine whip and leaped out of the dry well. But what met her eyes was utter devastation. The entire holy immortal sect had turned into ashes, and this sect that had thrived in the north for thousands of years had disappeared. From that day on, Xiaodi took on her master's role as Huquilin, armed with the divine whip, and traveled the martial world. She had always been looking for an opportunity to avenge her master. It wasn't that Xiaodi didn't heed her master's words, but when she thought of her master and her fellow sisters' tragic deaths, how could she possibly live an ordinary life? Xiaodi, don't be sad. We will surely eradicate that cult. From that day on, Xiaodi's character was no longer as innocent as before, and she felt a greater sense of responsibility. Too arrogant, this time. I will teach them a lesson. One should live a low-profile life. Black Fox is right. As the night wind blew, the individuals who had previously had vague objectives finally unified their front. They were about to unleash a blood-soaked storm on the grasslands. Of course, they would encounter many challenges along the way.